Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
What'd I say? I don't remember what I said. No. All right. Good morning for everybody that's here. Love that. And Black Hat, nicely done. Tech Bits, that's a good call. Put your cameras on. I need to see some faces. I want some interaction. This is about you. We're going to move fast. We're going to move swift. And I have to do it because I was going to call him a couple days ago, but I didn't do it. Mateo the Extraordinary, damn glad to see you, son. Boy, I missed you. I literally had my mind over the weekend. I need to give you a call because I haven't heard from you in forever. Anyway, I'm glad y'all are here. We're going to talk about goal setting today. Here's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover the 11 steps of goal setting. I'm going to recommend a book that you listen to on audio. It's called Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy. It is extraordinary. I have listened to this 5 times already in the past 6 months, and I would challenge everybody to get it through it at least one time. Another shameless plug from our EXP Shareholders Summit. If you have not spent some time listening to Ed Millett's The Power of One More, I believe it is, please do. Another amazing book. Y'all have got to continue to fill your mind with the right things. We're going to cover a lot of that as well in the conversation today. So we're going to cover the 11 steps of goal setting, the 10-year plan, and a 1-3-5, which is something we we researched and developed, which is ripped off and duplicate from Keller Williams. It is still an extraordinary way to help you move towards it. What I'm interested in you doing is having a goal, a clear definition of what your goal is, where you want to go, what you want to do, and then having an action plan at which to go forward doing this. And I will tell you that you don't get the rewards of your goal until you have done all the hard work, but then the rewards are yours forever. I'll use as an example, weight loss. I want to weigh 197 pounds. The hard work is no booze, no sugar, no dairy, or no pasta, stuff like that, no dairy, and exercising at least twice a day or once a day for me to hit my goals as I'm moving forward. I have not hit them yet. I promise you, I don't get the benefits of being 197 until I put in all the work, and then I have the benefit for the rest of my life. It's going to take effort and discipline. And the truth is, it's more discipline than it is effort. You have to be time on task over time. So the trouble with people is not their inability to achieve their goal, it's their inability to set a goal. Now, for the people I can see, and please, everybody on the call, put your cameras on. I need your faces because this is interactive. We're going to go back and forth. As a footnote, one of the things we're going to cover is who is in your wheelhouse. Who are the people you surround yourself with? I have the ability to say pretty honestly that it's very challenging to get on my schedule on a regular basis because I have a very, very busy schedule, as you all can probably imagine. And it doesn't mean that I can't fit some people in now and again. But you can get inside of my where I notice, where I'm aware, where we can talk, not perhaps a scheduled coaching, but you by being engaged and by being involved in these calls, by being involved with what I'm working on, what I'm interested in, you're in my circle of influence at that point. Now, I want you to consider who's the person that really is emulating what your goal is. Are you working to be inside their circle of influence? Every one of us has heard the 5, who are the 5 people you surround yourself with most of the time? Because that's probably the average of who you are. You might want to consider elevating the people you're around. Now, I'm not implying that you get rid of family, friends, stuff like that. But I am implying that if you're very selective on who you concentrate your energies on and who you're spending more time with, you're going to pick up some of those natural traits. There's a group of us, quick story, there's a group of us, Bobby Baldor's in that group. Ron the Realtor Bobby Baldor is one of our business partners. Ron the Realtor is probably the best real estate agent I've ever seen and one of the most obnoxious people in the world. Ron, if you're watching this, you know it's true. God bless you. But he's the loyalist SOB in the world. And wow, is that boy obnoxious sometimes. But he's going to sell 100 homes all by himself, no assistant, no transaction. Bobby's going to sell 60 homes by himself, no assistant, no transaction. They're both amazing parents. And there's about 4 other people that are in there that are very, very successful. That's
Things are frozen for me.
I thought it was just me because I was downloading something from Dropbox. we'll give him a second to come back in. Bear with us. Remember, this is George's like Monday for his computer and technology. So we're going to let that be. What's the weather like in Orlando? Is it bad?
The circle I like very much because Jen,
Did that, you guys caught that too, right?
Yeah, George, I don't
Okay.
know if you know, but you're not here.
Okay. He'll come back in just a bit. He finally fell off. Oh, Jamal, I haven't seen you in forever. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you, Tiff?
I'm good. Sorry, I can't keep the discussion going, guys. This was all George's topic. I am reassessing my own goals. So I was listening. So now I'm just shouting out people that I see. See, Lori said, hey, Jamal, too. You've been missed.
Hi, Laurie. How you doing? Hopefully everybody had a good weekend.
Yeah. And look, guys, Keith Landry just popped in. We can start the call now. Okay, here we go. We waited just for you, Keith. I'm just kidding.
My
It's okay.
apologies, my apologies.
wow, so
No,
sorry
you're okay.
about that. I'm having some issues with my computer, which is the first time I've ever said that in 6 years with a Mac. So it's time for me to do it. So Tiffany, you may have to give me some advice on what I need to do to make sure this doesn't happen anymore. We'll cover that in a minute. So I have no idea where I was. I was so worried about getting back on, and I'm like literally trying to hop on with my iPad and my phone. But I'm back, so we're going to see if we can stick around.
You had just finished Ron and Bobby
Oh.
Valdor.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Again, cameras on, need to see you, want your faces on there. Bob Bretz, good to see you, brother. Your circle of influence is going to be really, really important with you. Have you all ever wondered or ever thought about this? That we are happier moving towards goals than the actual achieving of goals. If you're a parent, this will make sense. If you're a child, this will make sense. Think about a big holiday. I'm going to use Christmas as the example because it's one that everybody is very familiar with. The build up to Christmas, to the actual morning of the presents and everything. If you're a parent, it's preparing for it. If you're a child, it's the anticipation. It doesn't matter what the event is, but the thrust of it is that the build up and anticipation of reaching the desired outcome, a goal, is more rewarding than the actual goal itself, than the actual, oh, I made it. Because we are people that move towards goals, and you'll actually get in a better position mentally, a better mood as you start achieving and coming towards achievement of your goal. Don't forget that, because you're going to be the strength that pulls you through, but you have to do these, 11 steps that we're going to cover. And I've got some other things to help you in your business planning. Excuse me, goal planning. Have faith in your goals. Know that the answers you seek will come in the right time. Continue preparing for the inevitability that you will receive what you focus on. Now, that's a little bit touchy-feely, but there's some truth to that, and we're going to use that in visualization. I'm going to challenge you to do the same thing. This is something that Gene Frederick taught me. Again, who are you around? Who are you listening to? Again, cameras on, guys. I want to talk to people. Who are you listening to and surrounding yourself with? But Gene said you should have your goals with you at all times. Mine are in my wallet. I wrote them on the back of a business card that I created a couple of years ago. It says the wrong year, but it doesn't matter. My goals are there, and I put a little Scotch tape over it so they stick in there where my credit cards go. And I look at that probably twice a day. I also have my goals right here, and I have them in my phone, and they show up as a to-do every morning. I have to read them. I know what I'm shooting for. The reason I say that is you should have, when you're done with this exercise, 1 or 2 or even 3 of the goals that you are committed to that are in your circle of influence where you're going to be focusing on. They need to be in front of you on a regular basis. Using some that are real estate related. You may have some that are family related. You may have some that are faith related. I have a mixture of those as well. And I review those on a daily basis. That's part of my quiet time. I don't spend the hour, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I do spend some time every single morning reflecting on that. Some of the things are, don't take anything literally, be authentic to your word. come from contribution. These are things that I say all the time. These are my missions in life and my goals. What are yours? Do you have them written down? If you don't, by the end of today, you should at least have a game plan for, I want to build my goals. And by the way, for all of you that aren't familiar with this, we are already in the second half of 2023. We are 1 month away from calendar-wise being in the second half, but I will tell you that because momentum is important, we are now really into August, September, and October. What you do now is going to affect that. What you've done in the last 90 days is going to affect where you are right now. Now, please do not get discouraged if you're not where you need to be. There is a lot of outside influences. We have a challenging market. We're going to have to work harder. We're going to have to work smarter. There are definitely less closings occurring, which means there are less transaction sides available. That's not a bad thing. And yes, it may not happen instantly. You may not get that, oh my God, look at that, it fell in my lap this week. But if you start putting goals in mind, if you start thinking regularly, you are going to draw to you opportunities because your reticular activator will open up. Is anybody here that's on the call said, I'm going to buy a certain kind of car and then experienced that all of a sudden they're everywhere? Has anybody ever had that happen to them, or something you're going to buy and it shows up? Now, I personally blame Google and the fact that they're listening to me, but I still can't figure out how they put it on the damn road when I was going to buy my truck. What happens is, it's not that things are there that that hadn't been there before. It's that you are now open to it because it's part of what you're focusing on. And think about this. If we're focusing on, well, I've got, my kids need to get to school. I'm going to have to figure out how to do it. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that because I'm supposed to work. It's just, everything's so confusing. We're not focusing on the person next to us saying, I really think it's time for me to sell this house and buy a new one. Our reticular activator, when we're focusing on our goals, I'm using real estate as an example, will pick up what they're saying. Whereas previously, it would be just we're driving down our lane and we don't see the truck. We don't see the opportunity. If you put in your mind what you want, what you're desiring, and you put in the 11 steps, which we'll cover, you're starting to see these more. And that's why it takes 90 days. You can do it and all of a sudden things open up. But the end result, which is in most of our cases, an end closing, an increase in business, it will show up in about 90 days. Now, that means you're going to be working with a buyer probably relatively soon. You're going to be working with a listing relatively soon. But the end result of the close, which is very anticlimactic, by the way, remember that Christmas analysis comes up. And if your goal is to really honor your clients, that sale will turn into another one. That's the secret that most don't talk about. Every transaction should be another. And we're not going to cover it on this one. I'm actually going to make Claire do it at some point because she's awesome at this. Not make her, beg her to do it. But think about this. If you're providing just the most amazing service, every closing should occur with another one coming to it. Okay, we'll get into that a little bit later. I have to find my place. I'm really sorry. I may kick off again. Here are the 5 big questions. What do you love about real estate? What 3 things bring you the greatest joy on real estate? Now, you don't need to answer that. I am going to drop this goal sheet, this class syllabus in the chat. And Tiffany, if you wouldn't mind, remind me to tell her a minute because, oh, she's back. Hey, I thought you were dropping off the kids. Oh, they're out of school. Are they done? No? Mine are. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to drop this in the daily downloads, which is on the very front page of the GPS Global Partners. What do you love about real estate? What are the 3 things that bring you the greatest joy? What are your 3 most important, now this is business, goals in life? This should take you 90 seconds. It's right off the top. And if you only have 2, that's okay. But I'm going to challenge you to write these down because this is a moving forward process and it will take a little bit of time for you to do it. Not much, but at least a little bit. And you're worth it. We are looking for momentum. We are looking to build and acquire and accomplish the goals we set. What would you do and how would you spend your time with only 6 months to live? Now, I want to give you a piece of advice when you're imagining this. It's not that in 6 months you take on a catastrophic disease. In 6 months, you go meet your personal maker and all is great and good. But you have 6 months left to really love this world. The reason I say that, your big goal should serve whatever it is you would do in the last 6 months. I've talked to Jackie about this, and I'll use her as an example. Hers is to go on mission trips. She is incredibly faith-based, and I love her for that. But that's her big why. That's what she loves to do, and she wants to. She very much so. This just brings me joy, great joy. She wants to be able to support 5 families that are struggling in our personal community, our faith community, anonymously, where they have what they need, where that is, she's kind of like their angel. That's something that feeds her soul, but she wants zero recognition, and it doesn't work if she gets recognized. It has to be anonymous so that they just feel that God is touching them in some way, shape, or form. Please don't misinterpret that as her having a God complex. It's a come from contribution and make a difference. This is where I can always help her remotivate by talking about, imagine what happens when we put in the work. You're able to do this. You're able to do that. What would you focus on in real estate if money weren't the issue? These are important questions too. What would you focus on in real estate if money weren't the issue? What do you love doing? What is it that brings you great passion? Because that's where your true success is going to come from. Mine is this. Mine is building. I am a builder. I love this. I love what we're doing. I like supporting and helping others. But did you hear me change that? I love what we're doing. I like supporting others. That's not to say that this isn't my number 2 passion, but I love building something, particularly if it's shareable. It motivates me. What about you? What do you love about this business? Do you love a closing? Okay, that's terrific. Are your closings the biggest thing that occurs? Is this the thing you want them to come to because this is amazing? Do you love the battle of negotiating? Okay, awesome. That's huge. I like that too. That's because you get to go to combat. I mean, you put on your suit, you put on your hat, you got your sword, your shield, and you go in there and you kick some ass. What do you love about real estate? Now, don't just say, well, I love helping others. Why? Dig deep into that. It's important you know that. What have you dreamed? And this is where it comes from. What have you dreamed of specializing in, but perhaps were afraid of? Was money the reason? Why? Okay, so let's say just was money the reason for it? Was that what made you concerned with it? But what is it that you've dreamed of specializing in? Some people want to be investors. Okay, that's a good goal. I'm going to jump through that one very quickly. I want to be an investor. I think that's where my passion is. So the first way to be an investor is to help investors, because you're going to learn when you're doing that. And that's part of it. We're going to cover that in the 11 steps in just a minute. You need to identify this. What do you love about real estate? 3 things that bring the greatest joy, or the 2, or even just 1, if that's what it is. What are your 3 most important goals, business goals in your life? What is it you want to accomplish? What would you do if you only had 6 months left? Where would you focus your real estate energy if you didn't have money as an issue, which means you didn't need money, but you loved real estate? What would you be doing? And what do you want to specialize in? If you can get through those, you're going to have some real clarity on where you should be. And I've got to challenge everybody here. The first 3 months do not equal what the end result is. So yes, it's hard. Yes, it takes struggle. Yes, it takes daily commitment. But any one of us can invest 3 months with clarity of purpose. And every single one of us can accomplish what that is. But we're going to have to put in the effort. And remember, you don't get to be 197 pounds when you're 235 without putting in the effort of working out, of eating well, of passing, going out to the social event, of, I don't know, let's just throw it out there, 2 scotches and then a bowl of chips and some guacamole. Okay. Not the best thing to do at 9 o'clock at night. Okay. You see, so there's a trade-off in everything, but the end result is health. The end result is I get to walk my daughters down the aisle. The end result is I get to play with my son's children. That is a forward-facing thing. Boys, don't do it. Not yet. I don't want to be a granddad. But do you see how that's mission critical to where I need to be? And what is it for you? All right, let's keep moving on. Now we're going to get to the fun stuff. Tiffany, hold on. Bear with me, guys. I'm sorry. I have to type this up. Otherwise, I'm not going to drop it in there. Claire, you're on. I always call on you. If you have anything you want to add on goal setting, do it. I have less than 1 minute and I'll type this up.
So here's the question that the coaches have been asking since we're at almost the mid-year point. Are you committed to your goals? Or has your commitment to your goals changed? So as you're looking at all of that stuff and remembering what has worked and what hadn't worked, that's important that we assess on a quarterly basis, because that's the stuff that George was talking about who we're surrounding ourselves with. Why is it important for our goals? If we're not attaining our goals, he just asked the question, why? And then go 4D. Well, why? Well, why? So George, this has been a great call. I know I hadn't had my camera on. However, I appreciate you. So get that typed up and it's your go now.
Got it. I'm on this. I can pull it over now. Got it. Great. Crud. One sec. Again, really sorry about this, guys, but I want to make sure that you have it and that it is in your wheelhouse ready to go. So give me just a second and then I am back. I promise. I didn't say this earlier because I was working on it. Classes. This is the part that's most important. This is where all the good stuff is. Link. See, a true professional, I would have had this squared away, but I didn't. But I do now. Tiff, it's in there. And for everybody else, I am dropping it right now. Everything that we're covering is inside of this link. This is the syllabus for the class and wanted to make sure you have it. So now we can move forward. Here are the 11 steps of goal achievement. And I'm going to go pretty quickly on this. By the way, suggested reading. This is Brian Tracy's Maximum Achievement. I took it right out of there. After listening to it enough times, I finally said, I need to write this down. And he walks through it in chapter 8 of exactly what it is. Now, that's just the beginning, the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more in here. This is a read book. It is not, touchy-feely. It really is about achieving your maximum potential based on what you want, but you're going to have to do the work. So here's it. Create a desire for the goals. Develop belief. Write down the goals. Make a list of the ways you will benefit. This may sound familiar. Analyze your starting point. Set a deadline. Here's a little footnote. If you don't reach your deadline, that's cool. You didn't make a mistake on your goal. You made a mistake on the deadline. Move it out. I'm okay with it. You should be too. Nobody's perfect, but you continually move towards where you're going. Okay. I'm going to come back to deadline. I'm going to talk. Well, I'm going to do it right now. I think it was Thomas Edison, 5,000 attempts at creating a light bulb, the filament for the light bulb. And he failed. And somebody finally said, man, why are you're just, you fail at this. You're never going to do it. He goes, no, you misunderstand. I've got 5,000 ways that I've learned not to do it. And that means I'm much closer to getting it done. An unwavering belief. And there was nobody before him that had done anything like this. Okay. Make a list of the obstacles. Wow. Make a list of the obstacles that are in your way. Identify the additional people or the additional information you're going to need to achieve it. Make a list of the people that will help you. Almost nobody does it alone. Somebody's going to need to assist you. We're adding people to assist us, me, Jackie, in our goal on a regular basis. We've added 5 people in the last month. A lot of virtual staff, which is great, but it's helped. Make a list of the people that help you. I said that. Make a plan, use visualization, and make a decision in advance of what that you will never give up. Those are the 11 steps, and I think that's actually 12. Doesn't matter. Let's say it's 11. Now, some of these you may say, well, I'm not really interested in this, but I want to talk about this real clear. The reason I asked you previously is, what is the reason you're doing this? What's your big reason in there? That was one of the previous questions, is you have to create some form of desire with this. And you have to develop a belief, and that's what I'm here for, is to help you with it. You have to develop a belief that you can actually achieve it. Is there anybody here who has an unwavering belief, show of hands, people I can see, that if they truly put their mind to it, now think about this. You said, I'm committed to this one thing, that they're able to achieve it, and I'll help you with it. Let's say the doctor says to you, if you continue to eat bad food, in 3 months, you will die of a heart attack. Who here believes with that kind of motivation, they can actually quit eating bad foods and immediately and instantly transform to a healthier lifestyle? Show of hands. If that's that kind of motivation, can you do it? Wow. There's a couple of you out here I'm very worried health-wise about. Just saying. You may want to consider, but for everybody paying attention, y'all think about this. If you will commit to it, there is a huge probability you're going to do it. So you have to have that desire. You have to have a belief that you can do it. That belief is, yes, I can, because this is important. That's why we asked the 5 questions earlier. I would encourage you to write it down on
Hey,
anything.
George,
Yes, ma'am.
can we take that a step deeper?
Please.
It's been my experience since shareholders with our leaders, and some of them are on this call, that it has been interesting that they were having difficulty finding their big why.
Yep.
And I want to share this with you. Because of the vernacular that has been used for so many years, it's like, oh, you got to have a big why. You got to have a big why. Well, some people's brains, because of their personalities, aren't wired that way. What are your dreams? What is your mission? What is what wakes you up in the morning and puts you in a mode of consternation or puts you in a mode of determination? This is how you can extract that. And I like what Mateo put in the chat. Most of the big leaders, and George, you being one of them, it's not about a monetary figure. It's about how you're impacting your family and your community, which is a whole lot bigger vision. So I just encourage you, don't get hung up on the vernacular. What's in your heart? What's in your dreams? And go for it.
Thank you. Yeah. And you hit on something that we probably should jump into even a little bit more. And that is, what is it that motivates you? Your big why is the term that everybody uses. Hopes and dreams, Mateo's used and all, and you did as well. And I would challenge you all to spend some time. And here's a great way in which to do so. And boy, this is challenging. Put your phone in another room, put a pad of paper and a pencil, and I want you to sit and just write and listen to what your internal dialogue says. Don't get up, don't go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom beforehand. Don't get up, don't go freshen your coffee, don't do anything. Sit quietly, let everybody know you need 1 hour alone. Don't check your phone, don't do anything, but just sit there and listen. You would be amazed. By the way, this is also an amazing way in which to problem solve. If you have, now y'all think about this. Let's say for our conversation that our challenge was, I really want 20 closings this year. In the next 12 months, I want 20 closings. If we sat down, each one of us individually, and then we shared our notes when we're done, if you sat down for an hour and said, okay, what does that look like? And perhaps use some of these 11 steps and some of the 5 questions we asked. But if you're going to do that, whatever it is that's going to bring you your business that you've opted for, I believe without reservation that with 1 hour of quiet time, without distraction, letting your mind be open, because we only use 5%. We have a maximum of around 10% of our mind that humans can use. I'm pretty sure Edison and Einstein used 12 or 13, and that's all the difference it takes. But the truth of the matter is we probably don't use it at a highest level because there's so much going on and we are bombarded with distractions. What if you sat down? What if we all individually sat down? What if we individually sat down for an hour each and said, we have one objective, and that objective is, how am I going to reach 20 How am I going to reach 20 closings? And I'm going to use this because it's an easy one to use. And my mission statement, or how I'm going to do that, is through open houses and database. Those are my go-tos. So that's just me. But what do y'all think? Put in the chat box. If each one of us, we have 45 people on the call. If each one of us did that for an hour and then we put these notes together, do you think we'd have an incredibly accurate way in which to reach that goal, that if we were to follow what our brains had told us would reach? If you agree with that, just put it in the chat or give me a thumbs up or whatever you want to. But I'll tell you, you can do that alone and find your solutions. Some people call it meditating. I like that word. But I will tell you that will happen. It really will. So let's keep going on with this one. Where are you right now? This is analyzing your starting point. You need to know where you're at. And you may be at, I ain't got crap going on. Or you may be at, I'm doing pretty good, but I'm not committed. All right, here's mine. I'll tell you mine. I had to analyze mine. I have achieved some really good things, but where I want to go, I haven't really started. I am too comfortable where I'm at, and I need to put myself in an uncomfortable environment. because I won't achieve my goals if I'm living a comfortable, not an extraordinary life. Okay. You need to figure out, where is your starting point? Where are you? And set a deadline. Well, my deadline's 5.5 months. That's why I hired a coach, and I told him what we need to do, and it's my job to get it done. The list of obstacles. This one was a lot of fun for me, but it's going to be fun for you as well. What are the things that are getting in your way? And don't forget the little things. A little thing that I figured was an obstacle is I didn't have a good morning routine. So when I got to where I needed to go to start my real work, my 9:30 prospecting, I wasn't in the right mindset. That was an obstacle to me. So I had to rebuild that to allow me to get where I needed to be. Okay. Is it going to be perfect? Absolutely not. Got up this morning, late last night. We got up. She's feeling much better. Jackie ate something, just didn't agree with her. And she was really feeling pretty uncomfortable at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I was there, obviously helping her and making sure she was consoled. And that means I didn't get to walk the dog when I wanted to. Now, is that a big deal? No, it's not, but it completely threw off my morning schedule. It's okay though, because I'm going to get right back on track. And at 9:30, I'm going to spend 15 minutes getting my mind right. Then I'm going to get my ass on the phone again. Because for me, I have to make calls, period. That's my goal. Everything feeds towards that. Additional information you need to achieve your goal. I got it. I know what I needed. Part of that was a coach. He is employed now, and I pay him $1,500 a month to hold us accountable for 4 times a week or 4 times a month, excuse me. This is the fun one. Make a list of the people and the help you'll need to achieve your goal. In mine, again, I'll use me as an example. I needed to hire somebody to do some extra work for Joe. So I'm basically hiring somebody for Joe, who's one of my business partners, my international partner in crime. And Joe's has somebody that's going to be working with him to help him do some of the things he's doing so he can focus more. And there's one other person that we're probably going to put into this puzzle that makes the most sense. I know what I'm looking for, and we're actively in the process. In fact, we're doing a final interview with this person today and then hiring them probably tomorrow. This wouldn't have happened if I didn't know what was missing. If I didn't know, who do I need help with? I have a very long-term plan. We're going to share that in just a couple seconds. This is a great way to get to where your 10-year goal is, your plans are. And I use visualization on a regular basis, and I don't give up. Now, folks, in a nutshell, that's goal setting. In a nutshell, your goals are achievable. The reason they may seem overwhelming is you're looking at, oh my God, I can't do that. Imagine a lot of us on the calls, any of us on the calls, imagine saying, I want to close in me and my group 100 transactions next year, 2024. I'm here to tell you you're in the exact right place to do so, because this is where building and momentum come from. But what do you need? I'm just going to shoot off the cuff, because we talk a lot of energy for the high level leaders. We have a lot of conversations. And when I say leaders, by the way, I want you to know what I'm talking about is the people that are at 30 and 40 closings a year. We have a different conversation than we might have with everybody else, because they're now saying, how do I build a team? The reason I say that is this is exactly what you need to do to reach 100 transactions. It's almost impossible for one person to do alone. It's possible, but almost impossible. And you have to have that crazy mindset like Ron the Realtor does. What I would challenge you to do, though, is say, okay, if I'm going to do this, I know I need to push myself to get to 35 to 40 transactions, and I'm going to need to be able to invest at least 20% into lead generation to support my team for the other 20 or 60 transactions I need. I'm going to need to have at least 3 great buyer partners or team partners, and I'm going to be bringing on, which means I'll need an assistant too. I've got my financial plans, but within a year, I can absolutely do it if I follow the plan. I need to know who's going to be, who do I need to help me? What does that look like? How am I visualizing what that's like? What's your schedule look like? And here's the scary part. It's not 3, it's actually 5 other people on your team, because you're going to stop being in production. And 100 is not the goal. That's the big reach. But once you get pretty close to that reach, once you're at about 80 with an assistant and some transaction management going on, you've got some money for marketing, you're selling 30 homes or so, you're going to find that you're almost at your goal, and you're going to set another one. And more likely than not, that's going to be 500 or 200. All of this with the right map, with the right plan, with the right questions is absolutely achievable if you will put forth the hard work to reach it. Once you reach it, you're there. I'll go back to weight because it's so easy. And then I'm going to open it up to questions. I get to 197.5 pounds. I already have the clothes that I can't wait to wear again. And no laughing. I like pleated slacks. I saved them. I have them from 20 years ago. They are definitely, I don't know, Miami Vice-esque. So, laugh all you want to, but they're comfortable on me and I enjoy them. And I can't wait to put them back on. They do not fit. I've got this much space before they fit. I'm just being honest. But it's getting smaller. I know what it does to my health, and my doctors and I have had long conversations, had one just a couple of days ago. What does that mean with triglycerides, cholesterol, and everything else, indicators, which are all great now, because the doctor did say to me, if you continue this, you're going to die. And that's not going to happen. Y'all think about that. What's the game plan? What's the long term? At 197.5 pounds, I'd have no more inflammation. There's just so much that goes into this. That's just a positive for me. So that's going to happen. And I have the long-term plan and I am executing about 75% of the time, because the truth is I ain't perfect. Neither are you. All right. This has been dropped. I will drop it again. Mateo, I love guacamole as well. You can't get past guacamole. I just saw that. This has been dropped in the chat. I want you guys to look over the 11 steps to goal setting. And more importantly, I'd really like to encourage you to listen to Brian Tracy's Maximum Achievement. Let's open it up for any conversation. And by the way, in these conversations, when we open this up and we can just talk about anything, this is where you get inside of our circle of influence, where you become one of us by asking the questions, by volunteering suggestions. Now, Claire is decidedly very gifted in what she does. She has a long pedigree. But if she didn't engage, we wouldn't be able to tap into her awesomeness. Now, that being said, there's others that perhaps don't have a long pedigree, but we can tap into their awesomeness too. And I want to tap into yours, but that's only going to happen if you say, hey, I've got a question. Look at me. I'm vulnerable. I'm not perfect. Welcome to the family. Neither are we. Claire might be. I am not. So I'm going to open it to y'all. And yes, we have all conceded that we do like your hair like that, Claire. We're just throwing it out there. That's a general consensus. All right. What do y'all want to talk about? Give me some impacts. Evelyn, Tiffany, please drop that again. Evelyn did not see that. And actually, I guess I can do it. I got it. I'm doing it. Look at that. Multifunctional. There you go, Evelyn. It's in there for you. So just click on that. It will be in the daily download as well. Any ahas in here? Anything that y'all are going, wow, okay, I got that. Who's gonna employ these strategies? It will take a little time. Outstanding. Well, Tiff, it looks like we got an early call. This worked out great. Yes, ma'am.
George,
Go ahead.
George, I just had a thought.
Shoot, Keith.
This is super interesting to me because I work 6.5 days a week, like the hamster on the treadmill. My thought is if I just stay in action, something great will happen. But I haven't clearly set the goals. Everything you just talked about, I haven't set clearly. So I imagine if I set this clearly, that the whole process will be easier.
It really will. What you're going to find is that you have you've got a real clear map of what you're doing, and just by I hate to use the word attraction, but that is the right term. Just by being in front or having the visual for it, your reticular activator kicks in and things start falling into place. I've got like 3 projects that are big ones I'm working on, Keith. And in doing so, I have 3 things that have the master plan is written up and I know what I'm needing. And there's a lot of moving parts in these. And it's amazing. This weekend, 5 things fell into place. I wasn't expecting. They just did. I'm like, oh my God, that's it. So I put it down in my notes and then I transferred it over to my pad. So I've got everything in it and I'm building this out with a partner and it's coming together faster than I thought because I now know what coming together looks like. And that's perhaps where you're falling short. You don't see the end because you didn't plan to the end and then of course, reverse it. I love that you brought that up. Thank you very much for sharing that. And if you put this in play, I'd love to hear how it goes. I really would. I'd like a call. Oh my God. When that first thing just falls into place, you're like, I didn't even see that coming. And there's the answer just like that. You got to text me. So George, it just happened called serendipity. It just shows up. Haha, I just Miyagi'd a fly in a room. I just caught him in my hand. Ha 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 ha. Take the ball from my hand, grasshopper. No. Okay, thanks, Keith. Appreciate that. Anybody else? Solid. All right, Miss Tiffany, I bid you farewell.